regression. Okay. Now here, just now we saw that correlation is actually, determining the strength between two variables. Okay. Regression would be to understand the relationship between two variables, two or more variables. Okay. It is a statistical process for estimating the relationship. Okay. And it is a process of creating a mathematical model, right? We are creating an equation, to determine or estimate one variable based on other variables. Okay. So in regression, it is important that there are two and two variables, that is dependent variable and independent variable. Okay. So dependent variable is basically the outcome or the one that you're trying to predict or estimate based on other variables. Okay. And it is generally denoted by y. And independent variables are those variables, which are used, to predict the dependent variable, and it is usually like x. And if there are multiple independent variables, it is x1, x2, x3, etc. Okay, yeah, there can be many independent variables, but only one dependent variable. And in simple regression, right, there is only one independent variable and one dependent variable, which is in the form of a straight line. Okay, and that is why it's called linear relationship. And multiple regression analysis is used when there are more than one independent variable, and as it is not a non-linear relationship. And here as well, there is only just one dependent variable, even though there are many independent variables. Okay. Now let's go to the regression equation. It's a mathematical model, right? We need to know the form of the equation. Okay. So for doing that, right, let's take an example of predicting a car, price of a used car. So guys, I'll pause here for a second. And can you guys tell me what could be the various factors on determining the price of a used car? You can type it in the chat box. I'll wait for a few minutes. So what could be factors in determining the price of a used car? Anyone? What could be the factors to determine price of a used car? You can type it in the chat box, whatever you guys think. Guys, it's fine if a car's category, yes, exactly. Sedan, hatchback, vintage or non-vintage, correct. Yeah, it could be one, correct. This could be one, yeah. There are many other things. You can take a guess. It can be anything. What could be more? Sports or normal usage, yeah, yeah, that could be one factor. Okay, you can also see, what is the age of the car, when was it first, yeah, years into usage, exactly. Yeah, years into usage. And it could be, the number of kilometers that you have driven it. And one more could be, is it automatic or manual, or it could be, as you said, vintage or hatchback. Yeah. So let's just see what factors are there. There can be many factors as told. It could be model year, what are the kilometers driven, what is the horsepower, horsepower or brake horsepower, what is the engine capacity, petrol, diesel, electric, price when launched, etc., etc. There are many other things, tire quality, engine quality, are the seats good or not, etc., etc. Okay. So for our simple linear regression, we'll just try to predict the price of a used car based on the brake horsepower of the car. Okay, so if you guys don't know what brake horsepower is, it is basically the true output of the engine. Okay, horsepower is basically brake horsepower minus all the transmission losses. Okay, so we'll use brake horsepower of the car. Yeah, brake horsepower is the pure output of the engine without any losses due to transmission. Okay, and yeah, I just explained because it is important to know what kind of variables you are choosing in determining, the price of a used car. It is always important to understand your definitions of the variables. Okay. So let's just take a look at the data set that we have. This also I've taken from Kaggle. Yeah. So if you see the power, the PHP, we have all these variables and we have the price in lakhs. Let's just construct a simple, scatter plot to understand how the data is, just to have a normal understanding, a visual understanding. If you see here at first glance, we see that yes, prices as power is increasing, the price is increasing, and then here clustered over here, and I think there could be something, a liquidation line can be formed like this. Yeah. So let's see. Okay. Yeah. This is the equation, scatter plot, right? That we just found out. Now try to imagine a line, which is passing through the scatter plot. Okay. You see here, I think one line could be, it could be like this. It's a straight line actually. Let me draw it again. One straight line which is passing through, which is taking into account all the points of the data. Okay, could be one straight line which is passing through it. So let's try to figure out what it is. Okay, so to construct a linear regression equation, obviously you first need to know the form of the equation. And in a simple equation, it is basically a straight line, okay, with a slope and intercept. You must have learned it in your school. Y equal to mx plus c. It's the same thing. Okay? M is the slope, c is the intercept of the line. Okay, and then in statistics, right, the equation of the regression would be y hat equal to beta naught plus beta 1 into x. Now y hat, this hat is usually denoted as prediction. Okay, this is what we are predicting, and beta naught is the population slope, and beta 1 is the population intercept. A population is basically the overall data set in the entire world that you can have. If, for example, in a used cars data, can be anything, right? In India, it can be the entire population of all the used cars data. Okay, but since that is not feasible to take everything into account, we always see the intercept. Okay, and for any specific independent variable, this would be the equation. The same, but we're adding a error rate. Okay, because see, as previously mentioned, there would be an error rate because a straight line is passing through a point, a set of points. It is not passing through each and every point in line, right? See, this point is away, this point is away. So there would be some error related to it. And that would be that error rate, at that ith value. Okay. And for any specific dependent variable, yeah, this is already mentioned. And until unless all points are fitted on the regression, there will be some error. Yeah, as I told just now. And the of error is the error of the line which occur when trying to fit the points on the line. And if a point is on the line, right, then error is equal to 0. But since that is not the case, it has some error. Okay. And one more important thing is, to understand what there are two types of mathematical models, everywhere across the domain of maths. So one is deterministic and one more is probabilistic. So let's see what those two are. So deterministic are basically those which give an exact output for an given exact input. For example, if y equal to 2 plus 5x, then if x equal to 5, then y equal to 27. Done. So there's no other change. So if x equal to 6, it will be something else. It will be 32. Okay. So that is not always the case in regression equation, right? Because there will always be some random error. Okay. Because the independent variables will not capture the complete variability of the dependent variable. Okay. Now, if you guys, let me take an example. Now, for example, advertising company wants to know advertising and sales, right? It wants to know the relationship, but is sales just dependent on advertising? No, right? It is advertising is just one part of the entire, you know, variability which is goes into sales. Okay, there can be many other things. Okay, for example, yeah, a company might want to predict the sales by regression analysis using its marketing spend. See, even though the volume of sales might be related to marketing spend, there are other aspects to it which are not accounted by the marketing spend. For example, seasonality, it could be inventory, it could be production, competition, how the region is, political, etc. There are many other things which can impact the sales and not just marketing. Marketing is just one thing of the many things. Okay, and thus for this reason, we always use a probabilistic model for regression analysis. Okay, there'll always be some error. Now let's go to the models. So deterministic model is this. As always, saying probabilistic will have an error. Okay. See, as told before, all regression analysis use sample data and not the population data, right? Because getting the population data is like very tiresome, very takes a lot of effort and money. Because, for example, in car only, you may take a sample from different states, but if you want the population, you need everything, like all the sales of used cars in all the years across India, across the world, and then you'll get the perfect regression. But we don't have that much effort and time, right? So that is why we always use sample data in regression analysis. Anywhere, even if you start doing in the industry also, it is always based on sample data. Thus, the simple equation for simple linear regression is y hat equal to b1 plus b0 plus b1 into x, which is the sample slope and the sample intercept. Now you might be wondering where is error, right? It is actually included. It is by default. It is there. It is already incorporated in the equation. We don't have to write it every time. Okay. And how do we, so how do we construct this, equation? How do we construct? How do we get these? So we use a method called as least square analysis. Okay. To generate the line equation, obviously we have to find out the intercept and we have to find out the slope. And we use the least square analysis method to find these values. Now, what it is basically, no, it is a regression model which is created by finding out the minimum sum of squares of error. Okay. So let me just see. Why are you doing this, right? Why are we using this particular equation? Just look at this, scatter plot. You might think that there is just one line, right? But there could be infinite lines which are passing through the points, and each and every line could be an equation. Okay, each and every line could be the regression equation. But how do you know which one is the best? Which one is the best? So that is why we use this. We are using it such that there is the minimum error between all these points and the line. Okay, yeah, you can create infinite amount of lines. Okay, but we need the best of them, and the way to find out is the least square analysis method. And this line would have the least error. Okay, let's just see what it is. First, we'll find out the slope. Okay, see again, there's a very big formula, but you guys don't have to worry about the formula. What is important is how it is created. Okay, it's a simple thing, but you don't have to remember it. Yeah, so let's break the numerator and denominator. And so if you see the numerator, it is actually the sum of squares between x and y. Okay, and the denominator is sum of squares between x. Okay, the independent variables. Okay, and so slope is simply xy by xx. Okay, and the intercept formula is b naught equal to y average minus b1 into x average. Okay, and p naught is basically average of y. It's the same thing, average of y and average of n into slope. And you see, you may have a doubt that why not we put just x equal to 0 and find out the y, right? And find out what is y and find out the intercept. But we can't do that in this case, because that has just two straight between 2 points, and when x and y is defined, then only you can do. But here we're trying to find out the intercept even without knowing what's the line, right? So that is why we take an average. That is the industry practice. So we take the average of both x and y variables to find out the b naught. Okay. So let's construct a regression equation. Okay. And guys, just let me know if you have any doubts. Okay. Okay. So let's just construct a regression equation in Excel. So here we see the power and price is there. These are our independent and this is the dependent. So similarly, we find out what is x square, find out what is xy. Yeah, we have this. Next, we find out what is the count. Is this sum of x, sum of y, sum of x square, y square, xy. This is the average of y. And at that. So let's construct the sum of squares of xy. Okay. How do you know which one is a dependent and independent variable? So this is defined by the business. Okay. Now, for example, in this case, we want to find out the price of the car. Okay. So that so there are so many factors. Ultimately, that is the one that you want, right? As a user, also as a person, also. So similarly, in businesses, right? When you go to industry or when you go to office, you'll know that they have some defined problem statements. Okay, they'll only tell you that I want so and so sales. So to get this much sales, what is it? So to get so much of profit, what should I do? So it is defined by business, so you don't have to worry. and it is usually a KPI of the business only most of the times. Okay, sales, turnover, or attrition in HR, and engagement scores, etc., etc. It is basically what the business wants to see, the client wants to see, the stakeholder wants to see. Okay, does that answer your question, Abhishek? Okay, awesome. So let's construct this. Yeah. So let's see the what is sum of squares of xy, right? So it is basically sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y. So sigma xy minus sigma x into sigma y. See, it is very similar to correlation, right? If I explained the correlation before. The sum of squares of x, right? So sigma x square, sum of by the count. Forget this. Now slope is what? Basically this divided by this. Correct. So we got the slope. It is 0.133. Let's find out the intercept. It is what? Average, right? So let's see. Uh, sum of this is also average. Correct. This one into and this is the intercept minus 6.11. Okay. So let's just write it here. P naught is minus 6.11 and B1 is 0.133. So this is the equation to predict, the used price sales based on power. So let's just see what the y predicted is. So y equal to mx plus c, right? So y equal to m. Now log it x. Let's see. So this is what it is. If you see, as you see, this is the linear regression line that which is formed. So this is the line which has this least sum of errors. Okay, and this is the line which is the final. This is the best line across all these infinite lines. Okay, and this is what we have. So an interpretation of how you would see what the interpretation of this line would be is that, if the power of the car is increased by 1 bhp, right, then the price of the car would be increased by 0.133 times. So that is the interpretation of this simple linear regression. Okay, and I told, right, this is the one which has the least error. So let's just see what is that error. Yep. So I'm sure most of you guys know R square. So that is the coefficient of determination. Let's just see, but before that we need to understand what is the error, right? So we use a method called as sum of squares error, which is basically y minus y predicted whole square. Okay, yeah, out of those infinite lines that pass through, our regression line would contain the least sum of squares error. Okay, this is also called as unexplained variance. You can see that later. And there's one more. This is the same thing. I'm just defining like this. So let's just find out the sum of squares error as well in our Excel. Let me just open that once again. Yeah. So this is basically y minus prediction of y, right, and whole square of that. Y minus the sum of squares error is basically sum of all of these. So this is the error. So 714. So you might think this is big, but this is actually the least error among across all the regression lines. And this depends on the quantity of this. If this is in thousands, right, then obviously the errors also would be in thousands. So it is dependent on that. So there is no standard way to know that this is the this is least compared to other regression lines. But among all the infinite lines within this realm of this data set, then it is 714. Okay, so in our example SSE is 714. Okay, now let's come to coefficient of determination. This is basically the R square, and this is the one unit which will tell you how good a regression line is. To test whether the model has accounted for all the variables, we use the coefficient of determination. Okay, and it's a widely used measure to determine the fit of the regression model, and it explains the amount of variability of the dependent variable that has been captured by the independent variable, as I told right previously. For example, sales and marketing is there. Marketing spend so and so X and Y, how much is sales? But marketing spend is not the only thing, correct? So there are many other things. So similarly, how much variability has been captured would be explained by this R square. Okay, and it is a much more standardized way. Now, sum of squares ranges from 0 to infinite, right? We don't know, but this ranges from just 0 to 1. Okay, and R square of 0 means the model accounts for no variability, and there is no prediction possible at all. And the general notion is that the higher the R square, the value, the better, right? But it depends on the model and also the business problem you're trying to solve. Okay, for example, a scientist conducting a regression analysis on chemicals, and composition may expect an R square to be at least 0.9. You need very good a very good model which is capturing everything, correct? But whereas a HR manager who is developing engagement scores may be satisfied with 0.5, because these are all qualitative in nature. We may not get the actual output. We may not capture all the variability. So 0.5 also the HR manager would be satisfied. Okay. Well, let's just see the formula for the R square. Okay. And this is the formula: R square equal to 1 minus SSE by SSYY. Now, as told, sum of squares error is y minus y prediction. Sum of squares of y is y minus y average. Okay. Now let's just see y average as well. So I have constructed, so just y minus y average where it, and SSYY is basically the sum of y minus y average, which is 2362. Now what is R square? R square is basically 1 minus SSE by SSYY, correct? So 1 minus SSE divided by SSYY. So this is the R square, and this is the fit of the model. So what does this number actually mean? I just to tell you. In our example, it is 0.6976, right? So almost 69%. So it means that our model accounts for 69% of the variability of the predictor. That means, a brake horsepower is there, right? A brake horsepower is actually capturing 69% of the price of the car. And there are other variables, right? Like kilometers per hour, kilometers run, what is the model year, all those account for the remaining 30%. Okay, that means 30% is of the variability of y is coming from other variables which are not used here. As I told, model year, petrol, electrical, there are numerous variables. Okay, so you may not capture 100%, but at least 90% is good. So if you capture 80 to 90%, right, then it's a good model. Okay, yeah. So this is how we are constructed from formula. Right now, Excel also has its own way of finding out regression. So let's just see the Excel output as well. And here, if you see this regression, click on OK. You have to put the y range. What is y? This. What is x? No, independent variable. This. The first row is the tables. We'll just select what is the output of this. Put it here, and we also find out what are all these. We'll see. So this is the output of regression. So see here, R square 0.69, similar as ours. You also see the sum of squares 714 and 2362. Correct. And the intercepts are here minus 6.11 and 0.133. Right, and these are the residuals that I'm not covering in the class. The interpretation of Excel also I'm not covering in the demo class, but it will be taken up in other classes, in the main classes. So this is how it is. Like in Excel also, you can easily find out, correct? But the thing is, it is important to understand how these have been formed, isn't it? Now I've seen many people and many people in the industry also, they just apply the, pre-built formulas and they just say that the regression is this much, slope is this much, that's why it's like this. But when you delve a little deeper, right, they go blank. So that is why it is always important to understand the mathematics behind all these, functions. And in the main class, I'll explain you what all these are. F test is there, why we do F test, what is p value, etc., etc. And those are all will be taught in the main classes. Okay. And so this for so this completes the demo. I'll just show you what all do we teach in linear regression. Residual analysis, residual plots. These are basically the error for each and every point. So how it is, it actually helps us to test the assumptions of the linear regression. There are a few assumptions as well. It's important to know that, how is the model really good? Hypothesis testing of the linear regression. I think you must have heard hypothesis testing, right, for mean and variance, but we'll do for linear regression as well. Testing the slope also, testing the overall model, which is F test. Also doing prediction intervals. We have, right, we predicting at 95% confidence, etc. So all that is there. Also interpreting the Excel regression output. What all these terminologies are. That also would be explained in the main classes. So yeah. Also, I would like to take some time to show our website as well. So this is our website. Here we teach SQL, Python, stats, and also mock interviews. And it is important, I feel like, even if you go to Naukri.com or anywhere, all the JDs for business analysts, data scientists have all these three. It is important to know all these three. And yeah, so I'll just show for stats. If you see here, what all you'll be learning. You learn basic to advanced. You'll have a detailed explanation of each concept. You'll understand what is central tendency, measures of variability, descriptive statistics, Poisson, binomial, normal distribution, normality test, Z test, t-test, chi-square test, F-test, and all these, correlation, regression, hypothesis testing, and the final would be time series forecasting. Okay, and this would be taking place only on weekends, on Saturday or Sunday, and this is how it is. You can just click here and know. I'll just share the website link also in the chat for you guys to go through. Can you suggest some good websites where one can start for the beginner in data science? Good websites could be there. Are many websites actually. So that is one issue. There's so many websites that you might get even confused. So we are also providing, one focused area where we teach SQL, business, statistics, and Python. But for a beginner, I think maybe Analytics Vidya could be one. There are statistics how to could be one. Uh, and there are some books as well. I forgot the authors, but there's some Python A to Z. There are Udemy courses as well, but they're all very varied, right? And they just teach, upper se. So we would actually delve a little deeper as well. So we could be a good start. I'm not bragging, but I'm just saying. Okay. So if you guys have any other questions, please let me know. We still have 10 minutes of our time. I'll be happy to answer anything related to regression or analytics, sapient, anything. Okay. Yeah. If you guys have any questions, do let me know. You can also see Kaggle as well. How much is statistics related to? What is Prodman? Sorry, I didn't get you, Abhishek. No, I didn't get you what Prodman is. I'm sorry. Product management. It is different actually. Product management means basically how are you building a product? What kind of features are there? And what could be better in that features? What is the usability? You have design thinking in that. You also have resource management, strategic resource planning. there are many other things. So that is not related to data science actually. It is related to something. It's a different, entirely different role and skill set. Statistics is basically, it's a mathematics, right? So it is used for data science or business analysts to understand the data and then infer any information defined in it. Okay.